8th installment of the Dad Music Podcast.
Episode 8.
You may have noticed we have a new camera setup, camera angle, camera...
Wow.
Yeah, it looks really cool. To my right, your left is the dad. His name is Jay. He runs Scarboard, and he's really cool.
I have to get used to sitting on the right side because on my left, your right, is the kid of the Dad Music Podcast. This is Quinn. And I am deaf. Today, we have a guy from all the way on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. He is all the way over in Portugal, where it is dinner time when it is our lunchtime. We have Igor Efimov from the band Tocka. And today we're going to get things started by playing his song, Recollection. On the count of click.
It was a tragedy. My heart is racing. That you needed to say. You were the only one, but I'm the chosen one. That you needed to say. I just needed to say yes. I just needed to say. I just needed to say yes. I just needed to say. We are the broken ones that needed all of the fixing. No matter what the plan, the faith, and the condition. We are the best of friends, but how come we're missing? I need you to say. I need you to say yes to me. Yes to me. I need you to say. Oh God, someday, just another time that I'm feeling down again. Could've sworn I heard you say. I think it's time to settle in for a little while again. I think it's time to open up and say yes to discipline. It's all a game and you know it, yeah. I need you to say. I need you to say yes to me. Yes to me. I need you to say.
Well, today we have a Mr. Igor Efimov. Dude, are you cool? She was like sneezed 10 times. All right. But anyway, originally I met you with Silent Planet. I'm sure that's where a lot of your followers have met you. But also you are the founding member of Behold the City. And now the founding member of Tocka, which is not pronounced how it's spelled.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys for letting me come and hang out with y'all and just kind of talk or whatever. That's always, it's always a good time. But yeah, I've played in those bands. I also do a little bit of like audio work as well, like recording and doing like live sound. And as of last 4 years, I was also like a teacher at a college. So I taught at a college and coordinated a diploma program in Vancouver for 4 years until this summer. So yeah.
Wow. I didn't know about that last part. So the last time we were able to catch up, you were helping do merch for Phineas on the As I Lay Dying tour. And you...
I was running sound.
Oh, you were running sound. Okay.
Yeah, I was running sound. I was running front of house for Phineas. I don't remember who was doing merch for them. To be honest, I don't know if I've ever done merch. Maybe like day one. Actually, Phineas is one of the bands that let me run sound ever. And it was a while ago. It was kind of when Behold the City was just breaking up, and we were playing our last show in Chicago with them at some festival. And after, we were supposed to go back to Canada, and Lee, their old drummer, came up. He was like, "You want to come hang out with us? Just sell merch," kind of thing. And I was like, "Okay, that kind of sounds like it sucks, but whatever. Like, I'll definitely go with you just because I want to go hang out." And day one, they were playing somewhere, and it sounded so bad. Like I was trying to set up merch, which I've never done before, and I'm just listening to this thing, and I'm like, this is just like, it's just so bad.
Nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah, it was just awful. It was awful. I don't remember where it was. I feel like it was outdoors somewhere or something. It was kind of a weird show too. Like I don't remember the exact details, but I do remember Lee. He's a sound guy too. Like he kind of was like, all right, these are the few things you need to know. And my dad was also like a live sound guy professionally for a long time. So I kind of had an idea of what to do. And then the rest was kind of history. And then, yeah, until the last tour I did running sound was with him, which was a long time ago, 2 years ago. And that was the As I Lay Dying tour. And that was super fun.
Oh yeah. Like I spent basically the whole night catching up with all of the guys in Phineas. That's actually the last time I've seen them too.
Yeah.
But you were telling me when we caught up that you had a new project that you were working on. I think this was right after your little stint touring with Norma Jean.
Right.
And you're like, dude, I've got this new project I'm real excited about, and I'm pretty sure that Tocka is the result of that pretty excitedness.
I think so. I mean, to be honest, there were about 4 or 5 projects that never happened, or they might still happen at some point, but it's just the way life can be sometimes. You know, you try with different people, and sometimes circumstances don't allow something to come out, or something just plainly sucks. Like, you know what I mean? Just something doesn't work out just because, there's different circumstances. So I believe that I was working on something. I don't remember if it was Tocka or it was something else, but the result ended up being Tocka for sure, because I kind of had the courage to say, all right, I'm just going to do everything myself, basically. Like, I'm going to record everything, write everything, mix it all, so that I can just see if I can do it. You know what I mean? See if I have that in me. And yeah, that's kind of how the songs came out.
Awesome. Well, and speaking of those songs, right before we bring you on to the podcast, we just got done listening to Recollection.
Yeah, and we wanted to know like what the story is behind it, like what inspired it.
Okay, well, I mean, so far there's only 3 songs released, which is a very, very small amount, but they kind of all have their own saying about them. Not only musically, they are quite a bit different from each other, but there is a particular story behind them. And Recollection is also the title of the EP, of like those little a few songs, and also like one of the singles. And it's about, I mean, it's about losing relationships with people that you were really close with, and then you having to move on. Basically, like I've had a particular instance where I've lost a friend, not like he passed away or anything, but like we just don't talk anymore. And it kind of, I care about that person a lot still to this day. And I wanted to make sure that I'm giving this person space, that they're happy, the way they are right now without me, kind of thing. And that's just kind of like a way of, how do you say, I guess, recollecting on it and letting go, and trying to let go. And so music is the best way, in my opinion, for me, to kind of get those things out and not worry about it,
Awesome. So I've noticed a lot of like your lyrics almost seem to be kind of internal monologue ish. Is that by design? Is there a lot of internal thought process behind it, and a lot of things that maybe want to break out of your subconscious or conscious?
Absolutely. And like the lyrics themselves, they're very like, they're pretty not specific on a certain subject or topic or thing. Like they're pretty like obscure in a lot of ways. Mostly because, to be honest, like I'm not like a crazy lyricist. So for me, the simpler, the better when it comes to some of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like I definitely like melody a lot more and like writing music a lot more than just like working on being good at writing lyrics. Like for example, Garrett from Silent on the Planet is an amazing lyricist and is just like a genius when it comes to that kind of thing, and that's his thing. Whereas for me, it's always been a lot harder to write lyrics, especially because English is not my first language. It's, I'm like just learning how to properly speak, not just, like without an accent or something, but like more specifically how to express my feelings in English. And it is an internal monologue a lot, yeah. And so it's me letting out a lot of my fears.
Okay. Well, one thing that I've always appreciated about you, with Planet and also with this project, is you're a big fan of like the soundscape, I guess, when it comes to the things you're doing sonically with a guitar. I haven't really been able to place it or liken it to really anybody else. It just seems like you're in your own place when it comes to some of the melodies and leads that you're writing. And you have such a unique playing style that, like I said, I haven't been able to really put a finger on like what influences that.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. It really means a lot hearing that. But it's productive in one sense where it's cool because it can be unique, because I'll explain why it's the way it is, but it's also counterproductive in the sense because I'm not trained to play guitar. Nobody taught me how to play guitar. Like maybe a few chords back in the day my dad taught me at church, like how to, because my parents, they were missionaries since I was a kid, so we would travel and they would like play in churches and be worship leaders and stuff. And so I was always around that kind of group. And I played drums primarily, and I finished conservatory for piano. But then when I moved to Canada, I grabbed a guitar and I was like, man, this would be sick if I would like play guitar in a band, you know what I mean? Like that would be cool. And I never really learned how to do it properly. You know what I mean? I would just like watch how others would do it and try to copy it. And because of that, I started to also develop like just a sonically like a sound in my head that's based on like 3-4 keys on the guitar. Like I don't play beyond, you know what I mean? Like I don't go beyond that. I don't play jazz where I can just play in any key or whatever. But I really like the way electric guitar, specifically in drop C sounds, like the timbre of the guitar, the way it sounds, the way how deep, yet like almost like it has like a melancholy feeling to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also play specific. Most of the times I play in like a specific minor key, so it has a vibe to it. You know what I mean? It's always around it. But yeah, that's just if you want to place it like that's just kind of my process. But the counterproductive part is because I'm not trained properly, because I don't know what chords I'm playing, or notes or melodies or whatever. It can be, you know, I can hit a wall. And I have like a ton of ideas where I just hit the wall and I haven't been able to like move past because maybe I'm not, you know, as trained or taught to play guitar as good as I should have been back in the day. But oh well, like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, what you're doing is fantastic. I still remember that first single that I ever heard from Silent Planet. It was that one where there's that big breakdown where Sean from Phineas comes in the video and just growls up a storm. But there was something about the intro to that song that was just the way that you were playing it and just kind of flowing through the notes and grooves that you were doing just really kind of struck the right place. I don't remember which song it was in particular.
To get a little bit more depth into the Silent Planet thing, I learned, like, I came into the record, write anything on the record that I was in the band during the time. Like Spencer Keane and Ryan and a few other people from the band at the time, they already wrote the record, and we kind of, myself and Mitch, came in, have not written anything for it, but the music was so crazy and it was so like in with the line with what I love, because if you notice that minor key is also present in a lot of the earlier Sound Planet songs, and it's also the way Russian, like it's called, I don't know if this word makes sense, but there's a term called bard music, like I don't know, like it's kind of like traditional music song on a guitar, and it's like kind of singer-songwriter or whatever, but it's in Russia, and they use the exact same key. Like they play the exact same chords, the exact same melodies, but they sing about prison. You know what I mean? Because it's prison songs, and because, you know what I mean? And it's the same thing actually. Now I live in Portugal, they have a style called fado, and it's the same thing, same chords, same type of melodies and whatever. Is just usually a Portuguese guitar, classical guitar, and a woman singing, but about romantic stuff, like not about being in prison. And then there's also Silent Planet that uses the exact same kind of, or used back on for that record specifically, very similar chord progression and style, that I was like, man, this is where I'm from. Like I can feel, I understand this. And so later on, when we started touring on The Night God Slept, we did a thing called Audio Tree. We played like Audio Tree Live, and I wrote like an intro to XX City Grave that was kind of like a start for me to start writing stuff. Like, because I ended up like writing stuff for Planet, but it just never ended up being released. Or I think maybe some stuff has, I just don't know about it. But anyways, yeah, it's a super influential band for me because it, you know, kind of stretched me to learn something new.
Yeah. So you were originally from Russia. So how did you find your way to the Portugal area?
Like, what has that whole journey been like?
Man, oh, it's crazy. My life is honestly crazy when it comes to traveling, because my whole life I've never lived in one place for longer than 4 years, maybe. Now that I think of it, like I told you a little earlier, my parents were Christian missionaries, so they would go and play in lots of churches. That church was called Vineyards. They're from the United States, from California, but they kind of came to Russia after the Soviet Union fell apart in 1991, and started planting churches. And so my parents got involved with that. So we moved inside of Russia a bunch. Then we moved to Sweden, lived in Sweden a little bit. Then we moved back to Russia. Then we moved to Switzerland and lived there for a very long time. Then we moved back to Russia, but to St. Petersburg this time. Then we moved back to my home city again, where I'm from, in the middle of Siberia, in a closed town with a fence around it. Like it's a military town. You're not allowed inside unless you have a pass still. And then from there, we immigrated to Canada in 2005, and I started a band there. And then that eventually led me to move to the United States. I lived in Nashville for a bit. And then I joined Silent Planet. I lived in LA for a bit. And again, I moved back to Toronto. And then I moved to Vancouver. And then from there, I moved to Portugal. So it's like, it's crazy. It's like my 6th country or something. Probably like 10th, 12th city, or I don't know. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah. The way that I understand kind of part of that story, I watched a few years ago, and I showed Quinn this yesterday, an interview you did with, what was it, Heart Support? Where you were talking about some of the struggles that you had with moving around and having the wrong accent for the city you were in. And
yeah. I'm experiencing this right now. Like,
oh,
right, because I don't speak Portuguese. I don't know Portuguese. And in Portugal, it's not like Canada or United States. Like, people will let you know that you're not from here. You know what I mean? Like, they'll let you know everywhere. I mean, Portuguese are super nice people, but especially in like government places, you know, government offices or post office or something, they'll be like, listen, like, I don't speak English. I don't speak Portuguese when I go to Canada, brother. Like, you either speak Portuguese or peace out. You know what I mean? So for me, it's funny now because I think it's hilarious. But yeah, at first it was a hard thing to deal with. You know. Yeah,
and you've faced a lot of bullying through your younger years because of that, and kind of forced yourself to not speak with that dialect.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I had to, I think, well, and it was easier because I was 15 when I moved. You know what I mean? Like, now I'm 33. I moved to Portugal. Like, there's no way of learning the language so fast. It's a super hard language. And what really helps is the sounds in Portuguese are the exact same as the Russian language. So, like, I can say certain stuff. Like, for example, here in Portugal, you have to tell your social security number everywhere, like at the grocery store, at the coffee shop, out loud, so that it goes on your taxes. Yeah, so it's like completely not like, it's completely opposite from the United States. You can't, because there it's like, don't tell anybody your social security number. Here, it's called a NIF, and I know it by heart because, like, I'm not gonna be like saying it in English or giving somebody a piece of paper to be like, yo, like, this is my number, can you include it? So like I can get by in this sense, right, where I'm like, I can say hi and I can say my NIF number, but yeah, it's an interesting thing, but I like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah. So as far as some of that, I'm lost on the Social Security thing. It's like in the U.S., you're not even allowed to whisper that number because somebody's going to steal your soul. So
yes, and they probably can. It's just a different probably set of, I don't know, mechanics when it comes to that, like in security when it comes to banking and social security. It's probably tighter here. So I don't know. I'm like, okay, like, you want it? Like, I guess it's so.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I thought that especially people maybe Quinn's age could relate to some of the bullying stuff that happens, because kids are cruel.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was so bad for you. You forced yourself to learn whole new languages and all sorts of stuff.
Well, didn't just kind of force it. It was kind of weird too, because like even in Russia, where the city where I'm from, like I was giving you my long story about all the countries that I lived. I moved back to my home city in Russia after living in Switzerland for 6 years. So even going back there, I was dressed up in colorful clothes, while people back in the day were still like all like black and white and gray. You know what I mean? So I would just get hit in the face for like just wearing different clothes. Not talking about the fact that we were never well off, like super rich or anything like that. Like always like, like mid class wherever we lived, like never rich. But I mean, for us moving back to the city, and back when Russia was in a crazy, like just like, like a terrible financial place back in the day, before like the oil boom happened in 2005. It was just like people were like, yo, like this guy has money, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever. Whereas, yeah, later on when I moved to Canada, I was like, yo, like I just don't want to deal with this anymore. Like I'll try and do anything possible so that I can just lose my accent.
Nice. Well, we'll try to get a little bit less serious. Quinn has some fun for us here.
Heck yeah. Let's go.
Okay, it's kind of like the one that we did with
Jeff Fortson.
Or we just like ask them questions.
Your mic.
Or we just like ask them questions and stuff. So the first one is who is your favorite guitar player?
Oh man. I'll say Pat Metheny.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who Pat Metheny is. He's a jazz guy.
Big jazz guy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Big jazz guy. But he's weird. Like, he has so many records that there's no way to physically listen to all of them. There's like 100 or something. Not literally, but a lot.
So he's kind of like you with TikTok videos. All the different riffs that I've heard you play just on little shorts on TikTok or YouTube. I mean, we'll probably never hear in an actual song, and I am very disappointed by some of those.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I tried the different type of I try it out. Like, I write them because one day I hope that it can be something, and I honestly get a lot of work from them, which is crazy. Like, people hit me. I just finished doing like a movie recently, a short film, writing, like scoring for it. And, like, sometimes I write for other bands because they're like, maybe this guy can like write us some riffs or whatever.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, at least it's leading to some extra stuff for you.
Yeah.
So we do have a couple of less serious questions. We have some good questions, and then we have some that are just off the wall.
Okay, this one is what is your favorite chicken nugget shape from McDonald's?
Oh man, I like the ones that are like weird. It's like kind of half, not like a heart looking thing, but it's like it has a middle, and then there's a side to it. You know what I mean? Like a little like small. I don't know. I like the weird looking ones.
Like the boot shape, maybe. I don't know.
Kind of like the boot shape, yeah, but maybe a little chubbier. Like if you like squish it in a little bit, you know what I mean? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. You got another one?
Yeah. Real quick, my favorite is that boot one, is because what I like to do is I hold on to like the thicker part, and then I eat it until it's like so then like the last bite is just a lot.
You're biting off some poor dude's toes.
Some stinky toes.
Okay. What is your favorite historical event?
Favorite.
Like the one you just love to read about or watch videos on.
Oh man, I wouldn't say it's favorite. I mean, we're living in like history books right now. The times that are happening right now are awful. They're dark. So I wouldn't call it my favorite, but it's the one that I can only think of because it's the only thing that's been full of my head for the last 2 years. But if we take that aside, favorite. Probably when Russia won the Netherlands in 2006 Euro soccer kind of thing. Like there's like FIFA and Euro or whatever. And
Big
Russia,
soccer fan?
Won. Yeah, I am, but I'm not like. I don't know. I'm not religious about it or anything. Like I'm definitely like hockey a lot more. I feel like, but here, especially in Europe, it's crazy. It's
Oh,
crazy. It's crazy.
I imagine it's probably like American football here.
Well, American football in America too is its own thing, especially if it's college or something. It's like, what's going on? I once went to a Mississippi Alabama game.
Ooh.
It was just like, I was like, dude, like what's happening here? Like this is just like I've never seen so many people in one place in my life before.
Awesome. What you got, Quinn?
Okay, this next one is your favorite soda flavor. So like your favorite soda brand.
Oh, say vanilla Coke, just because it's nostalgic.
Is
Vanilla
that
Coke.
one that you can get in Canada?
You can, but only in cans. I
So,
think.
fun story. I went to Cornerstone the last year of Cornerstone, and I met these people from Ottawa, Ontario, and they would just, when they came down here, they would collect like pallets of like Lucky Charms, and the biggest thing of Mountain Dew that they could get. And they're like, oh, we're not allowed to have this. And I was just sitting there dumbfounded, like, what in the world is wrong with your country?
Yeah. You know why? You know why, right?
I was assuming it was because of the free health care. They don't want people to make themselves less healthy, but perhaps there's something different to that.
Yeah, it's a healthcare thing. It's a sugar regulation thing for cereal, I know. For sure, because the cereal in Canada is like a bunch of points on sugar less, but there's lots of other things you can kind of kill yourself on. It's like, and the ER. I mean, yeah, you're probably right on that too. Just because the average wait time is like 12 hours, 10 hours. You know.
Nice.
Okay. What's the funniest argument that you've had with a bandmate?
In any of the bands.
The funniest argument. Let me think about. From the ones that were funny. Man, I'm trying to think about all the stuff. I mean, there was this one time, super long, when I was in Behold the City, and we were super young. So I guess we were like 16, 17. We were doing our very first trope tour. And I mean, tour, it's like tour, you know, there's like 5 people showing up, half the show's not happening, and that kind of thing. But we were touring, you know what a Safari, like a Chevy Safari van is? Like one of those small box vans or whatever. Yeah. We were touring in that thing without a trailer. There was like seven of us or something, 6 or 7 of us. And the drummer, the drummer and I were having this hilarious argument if the drums would fit or not. And the only way we could make it happen was, I was like, listen, dude, like you're gonna have to every day, like unscrew your skins from the drums and like fold them inside of each other or something like that. I don't know. He's like, oh, there's no way it's gonna happen. And it was just like so funny because it just looked super ghetto, you know what I mean? Like we're trying to stuff all of our gear inside like the tiniest van with no trailer, like sleeping on top of each other, and we're having this argument like at their like parents' front yard, you know what I mean? Like just like leaving for a tour and nothing is ready in that sense, nothing is planned. So yeah.
So we actually do kind of plan these things, but having an 11-year-old co-host is something that comes with its own level of, hey, we're driving down the freeway and all of a sudden they got to go potty or something. So our cat just walked down here and all of a sudden he ran to go chase it. But anyway.
No, I didn't run to go chase it. I didn't run to go chase it.
We're,
Man, I want a cat so bad.
There was a fun quote off camera on like episode 2 where he said, we don't have to be professional. We're the Dad Music Podcast, for crying out loud. But anyway,
No, I love the vibe. You guys are awesome, man.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Your favorite tour that you have been a part of?
Dang. I would say it would be the time that I was touring with Norma Jean. It wasn't a very easy time, or not for a lot of reasons, but it was surreal for me because I listened to that band since I was a kid. Like, I was in Russia looking on MTV, the songs that I was playing on tour. And that, to me, boggled my mind. Like, that exploded my mind every day. So every night I was with that band. I played on a few tours, I would just give it all. Like, I would straight up, like, sometimes even injure myself just because I would get too excited. Sometimes, like, overdo it. But I just, every second that I was on the stage, I was like having a blast.
I saw a video. It was from the side stage of one of the festivals you guys played at, and all of a sudden a breakdown hits, and you just go ham. Like,
that was the last show I've ever played with them too.
One of the coolest kind of Guitar Hero star power moments I've ever seen.
Dude, I'm looking at it now too, and I'm just like, how? If I did that now, like, I know it's like not that many years, but it's still some years later, I would not survive. And thinking back on it too, like, there were tours where I would have like a full-on fever, like a full-on flu, and I'd be playing and throwing up at the same time, for example.
Yes.
That, you're like, you know what I mean? And like, or that festival was crazy because we were playing, like, Metallica was playing that day. You know what I mean? Like, there was like Slipknot playing and stuff, and like some of the like techs or even some of the bands were watching side stage too and stuff. So it was like, dude, it was just so sick. And it was at the end of like the runs that I did with them, so we kind of were all locked in already when it comes to songs and when it comes to just like doing, you know what I mean, like not focusing as much on like, you know, the technical stuff. And oh yeah, it was awesome. I'm stoked. Like, one of my friends took a video of it, and it's still one of my favorite videos, honestly, of me performing live.
Well, like I said, I was just loving it. At least the one that I saw. I'm sure it might be the same one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Last one. The weird.
This keyboard's not even plugged in.
It is.
Okay.
All right, I'm reading. Let's go.
The weirdest YouTube/TikTok trend. The weirdest/worst.
Okay, I can give you this, and I bet you nobody knows about this.
He's so excited.
You guys. Okay, listen. So I have a guilty. Everybody has guilty pleasures, right? I have a guilty pleasure. I watch my spouse and I. We watch streams on YouTube, but the streams are weird as hell. So the problem. Well, I guess not the problem, but so there's like. I don't even know how to explain this. This is so funny. So back where I'm from in Siberia, there's a group of bloggers, a bunch of 40, 50-year-olds that used to be hilarious because they would just like go out, like, you know, they would like go fishing and do like stupid stuff. Like, they would obviously, because they're from Russia, they would drink a lot. So they're just like hilarious or whatever. And now they're just a bunch of old guys, and all they do is just stream every weekend from their kitchen, as this one guy does, and he just like smokes cigarettes, drinks vodka that he makes in his like kitchen, and like for donations, you know what I mean? And so like, and it's just so funny because the jargon, like the way he speaks, is like so hilarious to us. But it's weird because there's like 100 people that watch him. He's not like super popular or anything. So it's just super like marginalized. And my wife and I, we just sit and we spend with this old guy. He's like this older looking dude. I can show you, I guess, like a little, one sec. You're not going to hear the audio or whatever. But the dude is like, he would like dress up and stuff. and like, just like dance to music or whatever, and it's just like super funny to me. So
You'll
I know
have
that
to
doesn't make much sense.
you'll have to send me a link and we'll definitely check that out.
It's just
Okay.
So our first meeting is actually running a little short on time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna intro your next song, which is Nemesis by Tosca, and we'll edit it in right here. And we'll
It's right here. Right here.
click.
I want to be close to my own. I want to be wide. Today's the day I'll start my own. It's for nothing. It's for nothing. I can't believe this is happening. What have I become? You took my heart outright. I want to be close to my own. I want to be wild. Today's the day I'll start my own. It's for nothing.
So we're back, having just heard the song Nemesis, and apparently we have the cat who is not going to quit screaming the entire time that Quinn is.
yes, I approve that. I approve that.
Like I said, at some point you just got to pull the car over and say, dude, whatever, just go on the side of the road, whatever you're going to do.
Cats are the most popular on the internet right now, so this is just going to boost the views.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
let's throw that up there. You can even put him up like in the middle as like, you know, like the caption for the thing as Simba, and then you're just gonna get like instantly hits.
Yeah, we went to was it PetSmart, Petco, one of them, and my wife just about started bawling because she saw one that they had a little story on it, and it had been taken in an abuse case, and her little lips started going, and I'm like, I'm not gonna stop you if you decide that's something we're gonna do tonight. And we ended up walking out without a cat, but we do have this one and another one that are around our house most of the time.
Yeah, this
It's
is
amazing.
Annabelle. She's my favorite.
Yep.
He's fun.
Named after the Edgar Allan Poe poem.
Nice.
But anyway, so we're back, having just listened to Nemesis, and I'm gonna try to not be distracted by that. Quinn, did you? Okay, he is full cat blinded right now. So Nemesis, what can you tell us about Nemesis?
Well, Nemesis is a little bit of a dark one, but I'll try to make it as light as possible. But it is about like a very specific episode in my life. Right before I moved to Canada, my friends and I were walking home after a movie. I was maybe 13, 12. And this guy started bugging us. Like, he was super drunk, takes a knife out, starts running at us. And we're like, what? Like, what's up? Like, what's going on? So, like, there's like maybe 4 or 5 of us. Anyways, we were like right across the road from my friend's house. We run to his house. It's kind of an apartment building thing. And then we run inside the apartment. Parents weren't there. And this dude calls the cops. Cops show up. We don't know what he told them. Like, we don't know what problem he had with us, but they arrest us. We open the door, they arrest us. They will throw us on the ground, they arrest us. They arrest that guy because he's drunk. They drive us to the cop station, and they basically started interrogating us for like half the night. They don't let us call our parents. You know, they like put us one by one. They like physically beat us up, like that kind of thing. It was super crazy. And eventually they let us call our parents. I called my dad, and then I think he called my uncle, who knew some people that were like in a different police service that's way higher than the regular one. And then a few hours later, we had just some random people take us out of there. But it just was a very big like example of abuse, basically, that I experienced on myself when I was young. And that shaped a lot of the way I respond to aggression. You know, it just kind of put a seed in me that I fight with. Like, I don't like fight people or anything, but I mean, like, it was just like a crazy environment. And yeah, and then eventually I wrote that song, which is just super weird in its form, but I filmed the music video in Russia, in Moscow, with a person that was following me for a bit. He was like, dude, like, can I come and like we film a video like next week? I'll fly in from another city in Russia and we'll just film something in Moscow. So we like put together this video within a week. I like on like the Russian version of Craigslist went online and found like the police uniform, a real one, from a dude that was just randomly selling it. I found, you know what I mean? Like, just like crazy stuff. We filmed this video in like a public park. So there was just like people like, I don't know, like having a good time with the weekend while we were just like filming this thing. And it was also a crazy time because it was still before the war, but it, you know, like this whole trend of just like, you know, like weird activity from the government has been around for a very long time, for almost 20 years. So it's like, it was a little sketchy, but yeah, anyways, it was just kind of also like a self-expression of what I went through. And we filmed like a video about it, which was a little bit hard to watch, to be honest. Like, I still have a hard time looking at it. I try not to look at it. But it's just what I felt needed to happen. You know, I felt like I needed to say something about it, even if it wasn't understood or whatever. Like, I just needed to do something about how I felt. And in the end of the video, there is we have a famous, I don't know what to call him really, but he's like a historical figure in the Russian. I guess he's a writer a lot too, but Solzhenitsyn. He wrote the famous book about Gulag, and one of the things that he said was that violence, perpetuates, like it gives more violence, basically. You know what I mean? It's just an endless cycle. And yeah, like where I'm from in Russia, most of Siberia has been, a place where people were sent to in a camp or whatever. So it's like a very, no, and then like I'm painting it also in a very dark way. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if any American now or even a few years ago would go to one of those cities, you wouldn't feel much of a difference now with the way life is. But back in the day, it was crazy. So anyways, yeah, that's what it was about.
Yeah,
the song is about.
I was gonna ask about the video as well. I mean, it's a pretty intense video that goes along with it, but it does kind of fit with the theme of the song as a whole. I assume, obviously, you were in it, and was the guy that was directing it, was he the officer, or?
No, that was we found a person, like an actor somewhere through one of the friends that was down to do it. A few people, they didn't want to do it just because they didn't know, like, the video is not, or the project is not big enough for the Russian government to care about, because it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's tiny. But if it were to explode, or somebody that shouldn't see it saw it, they could get in trouble. They still live in Russia. I don't live in Russia. You know what I mean? So yeah. Like, some people were not down to do it. Actually, the original idea was they were going to hang me, and I was going to hang the cop. But then we were like, maybe that's a little bit too much. Like, you know what I mean? And so yeah. we ended up just doing it the way it is. And it's funny too, because like there's also some symbols in the video that represent, like, like the cop, he has like a cross on him, like he's religious, and he also has like a balaclava on him with like blood and stuff, which just kind of represent an image of like that violence kind of thing. So yeah,
real nice. I mean, I was definitely a fan of it. I can imagine people's faces as they're enjoying their holiday, and all of a sudden there's a lot of blood in the snow, and
yeah,
some dude chasing a guy in a cop's uniform. And
yeah.
But
well, dude, like Russia's kind of like New York. Like in New York, you can just do the craziest stuff on the street. Nobody will even look at you, because they're like, it's New York. Russia's kind of the same.
You just reminded me of the scene in Last Action Hero. I don't know if you ever saw that. Oh, so the premise of that is, like, villains can come out of the movies and just be in real life, and there's not a good guy there to stop them. That is the worst way to wrap that movie up, but it fits with where I'm going with this. This guy comes out, and he's just standing in a back alley in New York, and he just blows away a homeless guy. And he's just waiting for sirens to come, and he doesn't hear anything, so all of a sudden he just says, "I killed a guy on purpose, and I would like to confess." And somebody just yells down from a window, "Shut up." So it's like,
that's New York.
Here the bad guys can win. This is real life now. But
I'll need to watch that movie.
Oh, dude, it's classic Arnold Schwarzenegger. With a little kid. I actually made Quinn watch it a few months back.
It's a good
Quinn, how was it? You like it?
Yeah, it's good. Okay. Here's the social media shout out.
So
to somebody?
Nope. All of your socials. Let us know where we can find you.
Yeah, and go ahead and share your social security
Yeah.
Let's not
So
do
my
that.
social security number is. Yeah, I mean, just on Instagram, Behold Igor on Instagram. You can find me there. I'm usually hanging out there a lot of the time. You can find me on Facebook. Just type my name in, you'll see my face and just say hi. Yeah, I'm working on a lot of new music for Tocka right now that I've been working on a long time, and because of the move, it's just not come together yet. But if you want to hear anything music from me, I'll definitely post on either Instagram or Facebook or something. So.
Awesome. Like I was saying, you do those guitar videos probably a few times a week nowadays, and I couldn't help but notice your pronunciation. It's an sound, Tocka.
Well, I say Tocka. In Russian, it would be Tocka, if you just say. But Tocka with the on the first O is a little bit more North American. Like
Okay.
I can do, it's easier for, yeah. But people call it Tocka too, just because it's spelled Tocka instead of the S. And the reason why is because there was a band called Tocka already, spelled with an S from the UK. And I was like, all right, well, I don't want to get in trouble with those guys. And then they ended up breaking up. But so I spelled it like if you were to spell it in Cyrillic in Russian language, Tocka. It's just the S, and the C in Russian is an S. That's all.
Okay.
So it's kind of a weird because I, shot myself in the foot a little bit in that sense. But I also think that, eventually if I were to, the project would grow a bit and I would release more music and kind of tour a little bit. People, you know what I mean? It's like not as important to me as people are like how they're going to call it between themselves. Like it's like,
Right.
yeah.
Once you establish that brand and this is what we're going to be called, I mean, that's how it'll be known. So we didn't really touch on that. What I'm kind of going off script here again. What's the meaning behind that for you, and why did you feel like calling this project Tocka? I looked it up, and apparently it's an untranslatable word, meaning like a deep state of anguish and plus some. So
Yeah. That's exactly why. Because that word means a lot of things that I can say in words, but other than one word, and it has a specific sound and feeling to it. That minor kind of gloomy vibe almost, but cinematic in a sense too, because I think about the past in a good way, in a positive way, and I, overthink things sometimes a little bit, and those are all Tocka. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
It's kind of in a way how I was describing some of your lyrics earlier. Like they're more of a feeling than actual statements, and it's kind
Absolutely.
of like it's kind of a feeling trying to come out and escape, and it's something that cannot be really encompassed by a lot of
Yes.
different words.
Yes. And people make their own thing about it, right? Like, missing home, missing your mom, missing your dad, missing something, like missing the cheeseburger even back in the day. And now you can't have that cheeseburger because you live somewhere else. Even that could be it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I want an American cheeseburger right now. I want a real American cheeseburger, something I can't get in Portugal, except McDonald's.
Well, I'm sure.
But-
What is it? DoorDash delivery overseas would be a little rough. I'm not sure what condition the food would be in once it got there.
Yeah. Some stuff here is so much different than living in North America that it's still a little bit of a shock. But it's cool. Like the food in Portugal is like their own type of food is unbelievable. It's so good. It's so good. So I'm excited about just like going to the grocery store and being able to buy like a real chicken, or like, you know what I mean? Like a real piece of meat that isn't like $1 million and isn't like painted with different types of colors to make it look more appealing or whatever. Like here, it's the quality of food is probably a bit like better overall, I would say. But
So
service, yeah.
So as we're wrapping up here, I wanted to kind of ask what's on the horizon for Tocka. I know you said 5. Was it 5 out or 4? 5 songs?
Coming up, maybe even more. Like I don't know exactly right now. I have, to be honest, hundreds of songs. It's a matter of finishing them, which I have a problem with. But I'm working on it. And my next step right now is to find a solid studio I can work with here in Portugal so I can finish vocals, for example, and drums. Something I can't just do in my bedroom. And release those songs, maybe do a few shows. We've gotten some minor, like, not minor, but like we've gotten some tour offers before, but not anything that we can take seriously just because, there's no music out. Like I need more music out. So that's what I'm working on. And I'm hoping that within the next 2-3 months, I'll announce the record. And then the next thing is I really want to go and work with a producer, with somebody that, I can work with together, because doing things just by yourself is really, really, really hard. Maybe not for some people, but for me, it's super, super difficult. So I want to work with other people. And yeah, just kind of keep releasing music. I'm also working on other projects with people too that are not released yet, but will be probably released soon. And I'm hoping to tour this year as well. So whether it's running sound for somebody or it's filling in for somebody, I just want to maybe get my feet wet a little bit and start playing some music again, just because it's been a second. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, one thing that we do, and we tell a lot of the guests that come on, if you've got something new that comes out, send us some links. What we do is we're going to put you on a playlist with all the guests that have come on. Basically, your entire catalog, their entire catalog, and I'm hoping it's just going to be a giant curated collection of different styles of music. Right now,
awesome.
we have like 15 hours that if you put it on shuffle, you'll get everything from like soul to emo to poetry.
Dude, soul emo, that's a new thing.
Yep. We actually had,
you know what I'm saying?
We actually had somebody that came on that his genre, what he called himself, is emo soul.
What? That's sick. I need to listen to that part. I need to listen to that episode. That sounds sick.
The band Rosemont. He was our New Year's episode, and my goodness, his voice, and he's got a couple songs on a baritone guitar that they hit.
Dang, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. Yeah.
We got some skate punk, all sorts of stuff. In fact, your episode is directly after Jeff Fortson of Squad 5-0. And,
nice.
We've got their whole catalog on there. So anytime you get new music, send it our way, and we'll add that to our playlist. We've also announced that we're gonna do kind of some side shows that are kind of some reviews of tracks as we get them, and things of that nature. We're gonna try to do as much as we can to kind of showcase your art and the guy behind it.
Yeah, and eventually, once we get 100 subscribers, we're gonna be able to do these things live.
That's awesome.
That's a scary thought with an 11-year-old.
Honestly, I think it's cool. Like, I don't know about you guys, but every podcast is a vibe too, and then y'all can do your thing. Like, that can be your thing. Like, that's awesome. You know what I mean? And
yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
I had a really good time. I think, I definitely appreciate y'all having me, and thank you so much for including the music. Obviously, that's awesome. But it's always a good time to talk to people.
Awesome. Well.
Yeah. Okay. This last thing. You have 60 seconds. Just kidding.
You have more time than you could ever think of.
You have 60 seconds. What are your final thoughts?
So anything that you want our listeners, viewers to hear from Igor? What's on your heart? You've got the floor.
All right. Man, I wasn't prepared for something like that. I don't know. Eat healthy, drink lots of water, sleep lots, take your vitamins, and that's it. Shower once a day, preferably.
Hey, you need that one.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I mean, the older you get, the more you got to shower. But yeah. Just have fun. Don't take things seriously, because what's the point?
Awesome. Well, dude, we definitely appreciate having you on. Even with a 6-hour time difference, I'm sure it's nearly bedtime where you're at.
People just start having dinner here. They start having dinner at 9 here. So we're good. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, hopefully you can get you an American cheeseburger. Not to throw too much misery on that. And
I would do anything to eat In-N-Out right now. Oh my gosh.
Ooh. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll call that the Dad Music Podcast, and we will go ahead and at least shut down that part of this conversation.
Right.
On the account of click.
Thank you for joining us in the 8th installment of the Dad Music Podcast.
Episode 8. Find Igor Efimov and his project Tocka, and give him some likes and follows and tweets, and send him some messages saying that you want more music. All of the stuff that you can do on social media, let's do it. Also, all of that stuff that I just said, do that for the Dad Music Podcast. We need more subscriptions. We need more followers. We need more likes. We need more comments. Let us know if we're doing a good job, because I need that validation in my life. Also, find Igor and Tocka and all of the other projects that we've had on the Dad Music Podcast all in one place at the Dad Music Podcast playlist on Spotify. And it is linked right here.
Yep. And also check this out.
And click.